encouraging, educating, and empowering you into action. This is Warriors Talk with your host, Lady ReShell.
Hello. Welcome to Warriors Talk with author and founder Lady ReShell, where we move away from awareness towards action. It is Relationship Monday, and our topic for today is After the Affair, Can Love Truly Survive Infidelity? We are live on Intellectual Radio. We just heard from the Drive FI with Roman. Keep it locked right here on Intellectual Radio and allow us to feed your brain. On the last episode of Warriors Talk, I spoke with prostate cancer survivor Stuart Boone, and he discussed Don't Let Cancer Define You. Head on over to YouTube and type in Intellectual Radio and stay connected for any episodes you may have missed. The quote of the day is, every test in your life makes us bitter or better. Every problem comes to break us or make us. The choice is yours, whether you become a victim or a victor. Here is your breaking news for today. According to CNN News, having dense breasts can put a woman at a higher risk for breast cancer and make it more difficult to spot cancer on a mammogram, but many don't realize its significant risk. Starting this week, all mammography reports and result letters sent to patients in the United States will require to be included an assessment of breast density. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration's final rule requiring mammography facilities notify patients about their density of their breasts go into effect this Tuesday. Breast density is a measurement of how much the fibroglandular tissue there is in a woman's breast versus the fatty tissue. There is more fibroglandular tissue in those who have dense breasts. About half of women older than 40 in the United States have dense breast tissue, says radiologist Dr. Kimberly Fain, interim chief of breast imaging services and the head of the breast imaging quality and assurance at Memorial Sloan Cancer Center. We talk about breast density for two reasons. One, that is that breast density can make it more difficult to spot cancer on a mammogram because breast dense tissue, which is the granular elements and the connective tissue supporting elements, look white on a mammogram. And cancer also looks white on a mammogram. In other words, dense breast tissue can hide cancer on a mammogram, since the tissue appears white on the mammogram, the same way that lumps and tumors appear. The second reason that dense breast density is important is because having dense breast tissue raises a woman's level of risk of developing breast cancer. This new notification requirement doesn't specifically give you the next steps on what to do for your patients or for yourself after having dense breasts, but they recommend that you talk to your provider to get a more clear and individualized plan to determine what type of screening you should have moving forward. That is your breaking news for today. Joining me today is none other than our cancer. There you go. Like, Rick. Joining me today is Rizal Gilmore, aka we call him The Biz. He is our cancer activist, our motivational speaker, and the founder of the Gal Foundation. Hey, Rizal.
Hey, Lady ReShell.
What's up?
Hey, another day. Blessed to be here.
Yes, I'm excited for the show today. We have a controversial, juicy topic that I know many people have dealt with or are dealing with.
Absolutely. Somebody out there.
Somebody. So if you are tuned in on the show, like the show, share the show, invite someone else in on the show that you feel may benefit from this valuable information today. Topic: After the affair, can love truly survive infidelity?
Ooh.
You look excited.
I'm just waiting.
I want
So
to
what do
play.
you think?
I want to.
Uh-oh.
What do I think? Ooh.
Well, wait a minute. You're going to play the clip?
We could tell what we think first before we play the clip. I feel like, in my opinion, it depends on the relationship and those two people in the relationship. And it depends on how bad you both want the relationship. I feel like some relationships, they shouldn't be together after infidelity, depending on how severe the infidelity was. Then you have some people that are able to work through it. I've always heard that women tend to stay after infidelity and men don't. And if men do, it's probably a low percentage of men that do stay after infidelity, but women tend to try to stick it out. So my opinion would be it depends on the relationship. Each relationship is different. Those people in the relationship is different, and it's going to take a lot of hard work, probably until the day y'all die.
I agree, but I do think that there can be love after an infidelity. Yeah, don't worry. I am I can go through this by experience. So this is where, yeah, it'll be a good show today.
And I think because men and women have different reasons that they cheat too. Like I've heard, Rizal, that most women normally cheat for the emotional reasons, like they don't feel secure with the man for some reason. That security has been broken. They don't feel safe. They don't feel secure. Something happened to make them not feel secure. So then they seek a man who makes them feel secure. And most of the time, a lot of times it starts emotional first. You secure, you lock in with that person emotionally, and then you're able to open up and be vulnerable with that person. Whereas with a man, it may just be a physical thing. It may be a thing to where they want to feel validated. They don't feel like they're being validated. And even though it may be a short term of validation from a person, for them, it may just be sexual. Not all the time they're looking to leave their relationship for somebody else. With women, a lot of times, if we're leaving, we're upgrading.
I was about to say, see, that used to be the reason. Now the reason women go where the money is. So most of the young girls who I hear that come into my bit, they always bring in their sugar daddy. They go for the money now. So those other reasons, what you just named, bury them. They're no more.
Women are leaving because their man is not making enough money.
They ain't making enough money. They're not taking care of them. Like whoever is. All these reasons is what I hear. I'm not just making this up. I'm not trying to be funny. They come in. You wouldn't believe how many times I sit down and listen to these young ladies. Like they tell me their problems. They sit down and they tell me their problems. And that's like, number one, he ain't got no money. So I'm with sugar daddy number one over there. And they be bringing them in there too. They be, hey, my mouth is sick. I got nothing to do. I don't know what's going on. It's none of my business. But it's the women, the men can't do for them. And they can't buy a house. But I'm like, well, why can't you buy your own house? Why can't you make your own money? Why does he have to, be the one to do all of this? Have you dated him long? What's his long time goal? Like I always told on this show for the past, 9 year, 10 year, the decade that it's been, or whatever the case, I would rather date a woman with ambition who doesn't have a job, because I know she's getting it together and she's going to be going someplace, than somebody who's just unemployed and have nothing, who's like just looking. They're going to take the very first thing. I'd rather take the woman with the plan who doesn't have it right yet, because I know the investment is coming later on down the line. So, but yeah, these girls is off the hook these days.
Yeah, I heard that the number one reason for divorce is not infidelity, it's for financial reasons.
Finances.
Y'all not on the same page financially.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that is very true. I think that's the top of a conversation that you should have. If that's really important to you, then you should have that conversation with your person, and not just, you getting into the relationship and all of a sudden, because a lot of times our representative is there first and they are, maybe showering you or love bombing you, buying you all this stuff. Then all of a sudden they can't. And then the money runs short, and then now you skipping out. And they're like, what happened? So I think you need to have realistic conversations.
Like, do I need to start pulling bank statements and looking at spending habits? You know, like
Maybe.
maybe.
A lot of times we so quick to always say jump to the physical. You don't really have time to even get to know a person and what they're really about. And by the time you do, it's like, no, this is not what I want. They don't even have enough money for me. They don't do. Now you have all these complaints about this person because you didn't take the time to get to know them.
Yeah, like these guys, they'll show off in the beginning. They'll show the money, and then they'll buy you this, take you there, and then once y'all lay down, it starts to slow up a little bit, then gradually start working its way from you not keeping that same momentum that he had in the beginning. You're not getting those gifts or those none of that stuff as much anymore.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm going to play this video about infidelity and can love or relationship or even a marriage survive after someone has been untrue.
Has decided to stay after discovering infidelity, after discovering that their partner is having an affair. This person now has to have superhuman strength. They have to now process emotions that they want to run from, trying to process hurt and betrayal and disappointment and frustration and disgust and resentment and anger and sadness. Just if you can think about that, that is exhausting to a person. It feels like you are losing your mind. But they also have to see you, the person that they once saw as attractive, as beautiful, the person that they once believed would not hurt them. They have to see you in a more positive light when they are truly disgusted by you. They have to process the things that they cannot process, the whens, the wheres, the whys, the hows, all of those questions that they know that they would probably never get the answers to. Now they have a developed fear of you possibly doing this again. What if you go back to this person? And when you're the person who has cheated, before you come in saying, I want you to heal, you need to forgive me, you decided to stay. You knew what you were signing up for. Before you say that, realize how distorted their reality is now. Realize how much it's going to take for them to truly forgive you and to truly move forward. That's not something that's going to happen in a day or a week. And you honestly don't have the right to really put a time period on it. Because if that's the case, then you made a choice as well. When you cheat, you hide it for a reason because you know when your partner finds out about it, it's going to hurt them. It's going to destroy them. You are not going to have the same person that you had before. So before you come in making these unrealistic demands and before you start being unreasonable, realize that you have possibly destroyed that person. That person can't eat. They can't sleep. They can barely navigate life. They can't get work done. They're constantly worrying about what it is that you're doing. There's no true resolve. Their mind just keeps going. Love and history is one of the biggest blinders. And that's why most people stay in relationships to begin with. So think about that before you say you need to get over it.
Ooh. So one of the things that she said that I know with women, why we stay a lot of times is because of the history, the love. We don't want to start over again with someone. We figure like we put our all into this and we try to recall those good times that we had or whatever and find all these different reasons to stay. And I don't know, sometimes history is just not enough.
Well, like I said, it's almost like losing your investment, and nobody wants to lose. You want to make sure that you get return ROI, return on investment. You want to make sure that you're getting the same thing back and what you put in, if not more, which you're supposed to get double if you're waiting for a return to come back. If you are the cheater, you cannot get mad at the other person for not healing in the time of when you want them to heal. But at the same time, no, I'm not going to say that. It's a very touchy subject because the cheater now goes under interrogation because the other person wants to know how how it was done, when it was done, why it was done. You got all these things that's coming at you being thrown. And if y'all have a good and somewhat of some trust left there, then that person will answer you honestly. Like, hey, I did X, Y, and Z because A, B, and C, or whatever, how it happened. I know they want to get down to the bottom of it, and the person that's on the hot seat just want to hurry and get out of the hot seat. So anything could come out of their mouth, at that time. But I'm quite sure there's going to be something in that conversation that's going to piss the cheated off because you think that you've been doing everything, and maybe this person told you. Maybe the signs was there. They said, hey, I don't like when you do this, or this bothers me. Or I'm always hearing you complain. You always bother me. You always nag me. What, am I not supposed to have a social life? Am I not, like all these different things?
Why not
So
leave? Why not just leave?
You're invested. You're not just going to leave what you put into there. You want something back. You're not going to just leave.
So they coming up with all of these reasons why they did it. It's almost like you blaming the other person for an action that you took.
It depends. So my situation, true story. I, at the time, told my wife at the time, there were some things that I didn't like. And I, hey, do this, do that. Why don't you do this, do that? Those things never got done. She never took heed to that. And I ended up finding that in someone else. But it wasn't like a 80-20 type of thing. It wasn't like, okay, that little bit of what I found into something else. No, this person was coming like with the whole package. And it was hard to separate what I had for what was being shown to me now. And it carried on for like a good 4 years. That's a very long time. So that was more than just stepping out. That was, hey, I'm like in love with another person over here now. So leaving, I would never would leave my wife, but there was some things that was hindering our marriage and our relationship. And I even took what you just said. I even said like, hey, maybe we need to get a divorce because I'm not comfortable here. And it just wasn't, like what she wasn't doing, but there was other things. Like we lived in a house with her mother, her sister, my daughters. I lived with 5 women for years. Baby, come on, we need to move out because we need to get our own. But she was a mama's girl. She didn't want to leave. So it just wasn't, the other person, like the other person, she lived with her husband. But she had more freedom than what I was dealing with there at my home with my wife and everybody and everything. I got the sister coming in our room stealing money. I got the mama, me and her at ends. I can't do this because she wants, just because it's her house, I'm not the man of the house, even though I'm the only man there. So there was a lot of things that drew me to where I went to. So it just wasn't, me saying, hey, there was a lot of things in play.
Oh, God, that was a lot. when you was talking, I thought about the Bible where it says you leave and you cleave to, you're supposed to cleave to each other. You're supposed to leave your parents. Like what happened? What happened that she, I don't want to blame you, but what happened that she did not feel secure enough to say, okay, I'm married now, I have these kids, me and my husband are going to go, like who's in her ear saying that, no,
So,
no, we can't take care of you. Like at some point you have to shut out the noise of other people. What was the other people
so,
single? Besides, not your
well,
daughter, but the other women, were they single?
okay. So, what led to us being there? Her father passed away from cancer, and they had just bought the house. So the agreement was, let's just move in with my mother, buy the groceries, take care of a couple things, help her out until we can get out and and get our own. But that get out and get our own, it became so comfortable and convenient that you next to your mother, you don't want to leave your mother, but your husband is saying we got to go because I'm not comfortable here, and she never wanted to leave. So that's what led us to being where we was. It wasn't really nobody in her, in her ear. It was just how she was just clinging to her mother, worried that, she's going to maybe lose the house because she can't afford it. Also worried that if we got out on our own, were we able to afford it? Those things kept playing back and forth. So I ended up being in a uncomfortable situation.
Okay, let me read Greg's comment before we go, because that's a lot, Rizal. You just gonna dump all that on me.
Yeah, baby. It's Monday, Relationship Monday. We gets it in.
That's a lot. Okay, Greg said, I think he was talking about the title. It can, if with proper assistance, and it depends on the circumstances, if you can rebuild after infidelity. That's a lot. Okay, and he had another comment. He also said that's not always necessary. It's not always necessary to unpack the details, because you talked about, sometimes people want to know everything, what happened, how they look, what did y'all do, where'd y'all go, torturing yourself. Like, I don't want to know all that. A professional should know everything and then decide what should be shared. Yeah, I don't want to know. I don't want to know all those details. If you just gonna torture yourself, now you on Facebook looking at her picture, comparing yourselves and going back. It's too much.
Mm-hmm. Thinking, how could he? And every time you look at him, you resent him now. You give him a little screw face. Yeah.
Yeah, no. I was just thinking, like, I mean, everybody has all different types of reason as to why they cheat. So it could really be individualized. But just going back to what you were saying, Rizal, I would think, even if she wanted to stay there, like, okay, since we're gonna be here, I need to feel comfortable too. I need to, I don't know. I just feel like I feel like even her mom, like, babe, that's your husband. Like, y'all could go. I'm gonna be okay. What's wrong with the mama downsizing the house and selling it and getting a condo and letting that go? Because now your income has changed because your husband is not here. Like, why? I don't want to say make the daughter suffer, but kind of manipulate the daughters, make them feel. And maybe she wasn't even doing it. Maybe the daughters was doing it on their own. They came together on their own to do it, but.
Nope. Her sister was still young at the time, but the mother, it was just evil. I'm sorry, we didn't get along. She was just evil, even to this day, still evil.
And I know part of your story, so I just figured. Okay, so I'm gonna play another video. Is all.
Okay.
Okay.
infidelity is an exceptional amount of reassurance. And
For
it's the
sure.
thing that I think will make or break your ability to recover from infidelity. If you cannot commit to rebuilding trust, which is essentially operating as if there is none, you will not be able to bounce back from infidelity. It is checking in, overly checking in. It is not allowing your words to not align with your actions for a significant period of time. It is saying, babe, I'm telling you, it was not you. It was not you. It had nothing to do with you. You are the love of my life. You are doing everything right. What I decided to do with her has nothing to do with you. It is making sure you're paying more attention to paying compliments. Not that you maybe don't already, but again, it's doubling down, it's tripling down on certain behaviors so that you can basically pour life back into your relationship, because infidelity instantly robs your relationship of so many things.
I like what she said.
I agree with the reassuring thing. And sometimes I feel like if they try to make it work, sometimes I feel like it could be one person gets tired because you're constantly reassuring, you're constantly either you're getting tired of is he 5 minutes late coming home? Is he really where he say he is? Or if he wants to stay out longer with the boys, is he really staying out with the boys? Like sometimes I think people just get tired. The stress of it all. You're like, I'm done. And maybe the person that's supposed to be reassuring you too. I mean, if it's a constant thing, and I know you rebuilding trust, which, like we were saying, there's really no time limit on it. But at some point, we have to come together and say, okay, we both are rebuilding. So if you're forgiving me, and I know you're not going to forget, but if we're truly rebuilding, then we have to give you, it's a clean slate. You have to give that person a clean slate and move forward, but have conversations, be transparent in your rebuilding as you're moving forward. Because you may not have been before. There may have been some blurred lines.
Yeah, but them conversations, they come back and it's interrogation all over again. It's jabs being thrown. It sometimes, even though a person has done wrong and they know it, it doesn't give you a license to keep drilling them and like that right there is definitely a no-no. If you're going to forgive, then forgive and let it go. If not, then move on. It doesn't make sense to stay there and you're going to keep constantly badgering this person about the wrong that they did. They know that they did wrong. They understand it. How do we move forward? We're moving forward because now you trust me this enough of a mustard seed, because all we need is hope to survive. So
first, the first thing you have to do is make sure you understand that whatever they did, it was their behavior, right? It was their behavior. So I would say don't blame yourself, right? People make choices. And even though it may be something going on in the relationship, you could still make better choices than to cheat. That's why I said if it's that bad, then you should leave. And I know leaving, it can be a hard thing to do, and it's easier said than done. But have that conversation. Why not have the conversation and say, babe, I'm at the point to where I want to step out and see somebody else. That's not realistic. People are not going to have those conversations because number one, we're not honest with ourselves. So why are we going to be honest with someone else and tell them that? We don't have the guts. We don't have the guts to say that to someone else. We would rather lie, cheat, and cover up, knowing that there's a chance that you may get caught and you say you love this person, knowing that if they told you already that my deal breaker is cheating, and if you cheat, I'm out of here, we say it, and then it happens, and then they're gone, and it's like, dang, wow, she was wrong, he was wrong. It's a lot.
It is. And being that my wife knew what I was doing, she decided to go tit for tat. And
Wow.
I mean, at first, I think I blew up, but I couldn't get mad. You know, we both done wrong. And like I've always said, one thing that I loved about our marriage, and you don't realize certain things until later in life or towards the end or whatever the case, that, you know, she did her dirt, I did my dirt, but it came to a point, it was like, let's talk. And, you know, thank God we didn't go down that road of, you know, separating and all that, because when that happened, you know, that's probably about when she got diagnosed. And, you know, it was like, I can't leave her now. And we kind of fixed the situation. Because now, yeah, you've now, God has thrown a life-changing thing in there. I don't know if it was, you know, thrown to make us better, well, which it did, because it definitely made me a different man, a different person, you know. So things will happen for that, for you, in order for you to change or to become the person who he intended for you to become. So without that trauma and drama and all of that, what I went through, I probably wouldn't even be here with you right now. I'd probably be somewhere else, you know, God knows doing what. But, you know, I thank the process of what I went through, because even though it was saddening, I definitely see a difference in myself. And she even, you know, before she passed, she even saw the difference as well. So cancer in this case wasn't a tragedy. It was a good, it worked as it worked as a level upper, if that makes sense.
Wow. I was gonna say a glue to kind of bond y'all together in a
Right.
different way.
Yeah, it was kind of like, nope, y'all going to stay together. Boom, you know, that's it. You
Which,
said you're till death do us part, and that's what it is. So I did my part, and I thank God for everything what he, you know, what he did.
yeah, I mean, I don't commend the cheating, but I commend you for being there for her during that time, because as we know, Rizal, a lot of relationships don't last when cancer comes, especially breast cancer.
Right.
Like they don't last, and a lot of women complain, oh, my husband hasn't touched me, he don't want to be with me, and they're divorced, they're separated. So I commend you for being there for her in such a difficult time. Because you did a lot of things. You did things, you combed her hair, you did her eyebrows, you
Absolutely.
clothed her, like you did all of those things that you should do when they say in sickness and in health. And
Absolutely.
some people can't. Some people like, I ain't changing nobody's diaper. I'm not doing that. And I think about my mom with my dad, like, man, my papa was a rolling, when I say he was a rolling stone, he was a rolling stone. Okay, you hear me? He was a rolling stone. But the one good thing I can really say about my dad is that he was an awesome provider. Like, we never wanted for anything. And although he was rolling out there, he was always, he made sure that the household was taken care of. But when he got sick with lung cancer, my mom was there taking care of him and singing to him. And I was just like, lady, no, you a whole different breed. Cause I'd be like, ninja. Look.
See,
I'd be like, remember that stuff you did to me? Where they at now? Why they ain't over here doing this? Like, what, you know?
but
Like,
see, you didn't understand what they have, the investment, what they put into each other. So
my mom never worked. My mom, let me take that back. She worked when she was pregnant, maybe with her second child. All my dad and her and his folks, they all worked at the same place. And then she got pregnant, she couldn't work anymore. So she, throughout the whole marriage, she didn't work. She was a homemaker, as they call it. So she'd be at home cooking, sending us off to school, dinner when we got home, everything. So I'm just like, lady, why didn't you leave? Like, what? I would have been up. And she like, I got 7 kids. What do I look like? Dragging y'all 7 kids away from the house. She was like, no. I'm just like, okay. I really think if she wasn't saved and sanctified and filled with the Holy Ghost, she probably would have been. But because she was, that made the difference. And I'm just like, yeah, you're a different breed. It takes a different caliber of person to not only stay there, but do the work to make sure that the relationship, if we're going to survive infidelity, we should be thriving through it, not just surviving, not just sitting here tolerating each other, but we should be actually thriving through it. It should be a totally different relationship. But I'm gonna tell you,
I mean, but look at some of the other women who's been out there, like some of these superstars. Think about it. Even our favorite Martin Luther King, he used to step out on Coretta. Look at the movie Ray Charles. He definitely stepped out on. So what gave them.
It doesn't make it okay. It doesn't make it okay.
It doesn't. No matter what fame or money that you have, it doesn't.
And who knows what type of agreement they might have had. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know who would agree to it, but some people might. They don't make them like that anymore. And I thought about. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no.
I thought about some people say, and I don't know if I heard him admit, Jay-Z. They were saying that he so-called admitted he cheated on Beyonce and how he made her feel when he cheated on her. I don't think he actually came out and said he cheated, but he was just saying, like, when you hurt somebody and you have to see them and look at them every day, and then you have to try to get back into their good graces. Like, it's a lot of work.
I mean, but the why they cheat, that's like a whole nother show. You talking about Beyonce, one of the most beautifulest women in the world. Why would you step out on her? What caused him to step out on Beyonce?
I'm gonna tell you what a guy told me. This guy, how I found out he was cheating. He told me he had it. And people probably don't know what this is. He told me he had an interview in Texas. And I'm just like, why is you interviewing in Texas? And I'm here. Like, what are you interviewing in Texas for? So he had an interview in Texas. Now, he said this was his second interview. And I'm thinking, like, well, when was the first interview? Because this is my first time hearing that you interviewing for Texas, right? So he went on the interview. And then, like, late that night, I get a call from his phone. So I'm thinking, oh, okay, he's calling me before he go to sleep or whatever. So I answer the phone. And the girl is on the phone. And I'm just like, hello? And she's like, hello? I'm like, hello? Is this so-and-so's phone you calling me from? She was like, I know. And I'm like, can I speak to him? She was like, no, he's asleep. I was like, okay, so why are you calling me? I just want you to know where he was and that he's asleep. I was like, okay, well, where is he? And she told me without me telling her that he was in Texas. This is how many times he'd been to Texas. I was like, okay. So when that morning, because then so I asked, like, let me call the phone back. I called, she didn't answer. So that morning when he got up, I guess got on the flight, came home, then he called me, and I'm like, I didn't say anything. I'm just like, hey. And he's like, hey. I'm like, what's going on? He's like, I broke my phone, and I had to get a new one. It took me some time to get a new one. I was like, oh, okay. How did the interview go? And he's like, yeah, it went good. I don't think I'm going to take it. I was like, oh, okay. I said, oh, well, I got a call from, and it came from your phone. So you can't lie because it came from your phone, and then he ended up telling me what happened. And I was just like, wow. And we said, okay, we're going to try to work this out. And let me tell you that it never I'm not gonna say it never works, but it almost never works. And after that, I just didn't trust him. I was just like, And then at that point, I'm like, I'm going tit for tat. Like, okay, so you don't open this portal for us. Now we can see other people, right? And then he like, no. I was like, well, you just saw somebody. He was like, but no, I said, why did you see her? He said, it was something different. I said, so you wanted something different. He said, the only way I can just explain it is it was something different. Not that she was better, this or that. It was just different.
I mean, was he like, okay, I could kind of see, like, was she like this exotic, type person? Was she like
she was, and nothing against her, because she wasn't a bad looking girl. She was just a heavy set girl. And I'm like, dude, I'm not heavy set. And at that time I was a little bit thicker, but I'm just like, look, that's a totally different.
That's a whole nother level.
Yeah, like
you trying to be over there modest and easy, talking about she was just heavy set. That ain't what you want to say.
What is really going on? Like, that's a total difference. Like, how they said some people have a type. I was just like, whoa, where'd that come from? He just said for him, it was just something different. I said, okay,
wow.
Well, it's something different. So we open. Now you let me know we can see other people. And he's like, no, that's not what I want. That's what you want because you opened it. You opened it. So,
wow. It's funny you mention that, because doctor once told me that I don't know what's wrong with men. If I was a man, I'll be going for all the heavy set women because they ain't giving none and they thing is tight. That is the place to be, she said. And this is a woman doctor who said this. Wow. So for him to keep flying back to Texas, it must be some truth to it. So
not necessarily, because heavy women get it in on a regular. If y'all going to see her like that, I'm sure she had a man there too. Cadillac said they don't make them like my mom anymore. They don't make them like her. I swear they don't.
They don't.
He said that wasn't a good reason, but if you think it was.
I was going to say, because it was something different. So you telling me that's what Jay told B?
And honestly, it doesn't. Let me tell y'all something. Me and y'all. Sometimes I think y'all a little slow in that area, but it's easy for us to make ourselves tight. It's so easy to make it. We done had a baby. Okay, baby come out of there and it goes back. It reshapes itself. They have products out here for you to make yourself. You can get a vaginal rejuvenation that makes you a little tighter. It rejuvenates your vagina. So, yeah. For him, it was something different. It was when you're sneaking, and it always feels good when you're sneaking until you get caught and you have to deal with the consequences. And then, all right, now we open. Guess what I'm about to do? I'm out here. I'm in these streets. I'm in the streets. Not right now, but that was a while ago. But I'm just saying, that was a while ago.
You're retired now. That's what.
No, I ain't retired, but I'm not out there. I'm not in the streets. I pick and choose the streets I want to be in, and I don't have time. I don't have time to be in the streets. I want to talk about a commitment to change, because once they have committed infidelity, then the conversation comes that, they talk about, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to change. I'm going to do this. And then you start seeing the behavior that it looks like they're changing. But like I was saying before, sometimes I feel like it could be a bit much for people to keep doing, especially if it's not genuine and if it's not what they really want to do. If they're just doing it just to, I'm going to shut this person up. So I'm just going to, okay, she wants to, he or she, because both people cheat. I'm going to get them the password to my phone. Okay, I'm going to check my phone. I'm going to report where I'm at. And eventually that gets exhausting. You got to be able to really create trust, because that right there could be a detriment to the relationship.
That's way too much.
Yeah, it's exhausting. So at that point, I'd be like, you know what? Let's just call it, because I'm not. I don't want that. I don't want to have. I want to be able to go and come, and if you say you're going to do something, I want to be able to believe that and not have a second thought in my head like, yeah, right. I wonder what he doing, and I got to be sneaking somewhere, hiding in the bushes, just to make sure you are where you say you are. It's too much. It's exhausting. It's exhausting. So if you say that you're committed to changing, then be a person of your word and really do the work. Otherwise, I say leave that person alone. Just leave them alone, step away, and cut your losses and go work on yourself, and then try it again. Not with that person, but with somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah. Unless you're just like totally in love with that person.
But some people say,
or
how
you're
can you
married
love
to
them
that
if you cheated
person.
on them?
I mean, if you're married to that person, it may be a little bit hard to just cut because y'all may have children and you don't want to go through a divorce because it's going to upset the children and all different kind of, different things can happen. So
You have a lot of people that are separated. They've been separated for about 10, 20, 30 years. They live in totally separate houses. They're not divorced for some reason. I don't know why, but they're not together. They're not together. And sometimes we feel like, oh, we're gonna stay together for the children, and because the children know something is going on. Trust me, they know. They see the division, they smell the trash, they know what's going on. So you're not doing the children any good. You're doing them harm by staying together and pretending that this is a happy house.
especially when they got to go to daddy house every other weekend.
No, I'm saying even if you stay in the house, if you stay in the house and you
That's
say,
got to be hard. That's got to
that's what
be
I'm saying. They're
really
going to
hard.
see something. They're going to
Yeah.
see something. They're going to see something. I don't
I
know.
mean, but then again, I mean, on a positive note, maybe that could be a way if y'all back around each other and the truth is on the table. Maybe that's a way for y'all to rekindle what you have or find out where the problems were, and maybe y'all can work it out. So now the household can be peaceful again.
It takes work.
It do.
It do.
Faith without work is dead.
I would say couples counseling and then individual counseling too. Like, don't leave out the counseling, and not just oh, we talking to our pastor. No, go to a licensed counselor who can actually help y'all get through if y'all trying to mend things. Go see a counselor.
I'm not licensed, but for $5.99, I can help you with your problems.
Really. Red says, Kalek says, you really have to feel the trust and find reasons not to trust. Also, you need to rethink why you're together. I think that's what he's trying to say. Yeah, I mean, and then that'll probably come out in y'all talking. It'll come out in counseling. All of that. You really have to be willing to forgive this person. And I'm not going to say I'm going to say don't throw it up in their face. But if you could say I forgive you, but I'm not over it yet. So I'm not over it yet. I forgive you because sometimes you have to release yourself. So you could forgive that person, but I'm not over. I'm not done processing it yet. But I forgive you, but I'm still working through it. So I may be I'm having a hard time because this and that, and I may want to talk to you about it or whatever. And at some point, you should get to a place to where you both have truly moved on and healed in a way to where there's a new commitment. There's the trust is rejuvenated, and you guys can be one, because a lot of times we're not one, and that's where the cheating comes in. That's you step away because you're really not one. Because if you was one and you cheat on that person, you're cheating on yourself. You hurt that person, you're hurting yourself.
Anything after but is BS. We'll be sitting up there because you're going to rethink in your mind. So you drop the beer at 11 o'clock. And you listen, yeah. I dropped the beer at 10:30. And you're gonna be sitting here replaying everything what I said from previous conversations, from previous times of me, in the infidelity stages of me saying I was here and I really was there.
Yes,
And you're gonna be thinking, how did I? You're gonna be trying to put all the clues together until you come up with the whole master plan of how it went down. You are going to be restless. You're going to be going through Newports like I don't know what. You're going to be drinking.
And if you're deciding to stay there, then you have to go through you got to let me go through my process of getting over this. Okay, just let me go through it. And let me go through my process. And if I got to go through it and you got to hear it, if you're deciding to stay, then you got to go through that process with me. Otherwise, let's just go our separate ways and let it be healthy for everybody, because it could turn violent really quickly. Some people don't need to rebuild. Some people do need to walk away. But the Bible says if someone commits adultery, that you're free to go. But the Bible says if you can work it out, work it out. But you are free to go if someone does that on you. You don't have to stay. But if
the Bible also says an eye for an eye. Well, careful with your words.
We are out of time. Again. All right, Rizal, we are out of time. Can you give me some words of wisdom as it relates to after the affair? Can you really truly do this if somebody commits adultery, if it's infidelity?
My answer is still yes, it can happen. And my words of wisdom is don't lose what you love for what you like.
Awesome. My words of wisdom are healing doesn't mean that the damage never existed. It means that the damage no longer control our lives. So if you're choosing to forgive, then truly forgive. Join me next Monday right here on Intellectual Radio at 6 p.m. As always, thank you for tuning in to Warriors Talk with Lady ReShell. Co-hosting with me today is Rizal, aka The Biz. Warriors Talk is changing lives one warrior at a time.
Thank you for listening to this week's edition of Warriors Talk with Lady ReShell. To find out more about Warriors Talk, follow at Warriors Talk, the number 1, on all social media outlets, and Warriors Talk with Lady ReShell on YouTube. Please join us next week and every Monday evening at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time on intellectualradio.com for Warriors Talk with Lady ReShell, where we encourage, educate, and empower you into action.